Hey guys, it's Nate here. I'm back in the shop today and I'm working on some weathering. I actually recorded a weathering video about a week and a half or so ago and I deleted it. And it was a long one too. So I'm gonna do kind of like an overview of how I weathered my stuff and how I'm still in the process of doing it. I just do it a little bit at a time. But the things that I've figured out that might help you out, I'm using some Fuller's Earth. It's bentonite clay. It's just kind of like a tan colored clay powder. I got that on Amazon, like 90% of the other stuff I've gotten. And then I'm actually just using kind of the same technique I did with the helmet. This is just white acrylic paint that I watered down big time, so it's kind of like the consistency of like a fat-free milk. It's like white water, pretty much. But whenever you paint something with this, it's kind of leaves like a chalky looking, it's kind of like a translucent white. So it works great for getting down in these little grooves and stuff. And I'll show you. So I already weathered this a little bit with the bentonite clay powder. And I'll show you how I did that. All I did is I used some water on a paintbrush, just like, pretty much like this. And like these corners right here, I just put some water down in there and then wiped it off so that it stayed down in those little grooves. And then I just powdered it with this. I'll show you. It gets all over. My air conditioner's on right now, so it's probably gonna blow all over me. And so I just powdered it like that. Blew it off, and then kind of dusted it off, and it leaves it like that. So, and you can kind of wipe that off too. I mean, it'll stay on there pretty good, but you can wipe it off also if you get a wet rag and like kind of scrub it a little bit. But I'm not wanting to take away from the shininess of the whole piece. I just want a little bit of wear on there, you know, in the grooves and all the little cracks and crevices that you are going to collect dirt. So I'm going to show you all this, because the bentonite clay part is pretty simple. I mean, you just dust it, wipe it off, and clean it. It's pretty simple. There's not really that's the only method. I mean, now this is kind of like just a regular weathering anything. Let me get this off so you can see what it looks like beforehand. Okay, so what I'm wanting to get is these grooves that are right here. Those are gonna collect the white powder substance, like on the Death Trooper, the still shots. The real popular one when he's holding the rifle and he's got the little Stormy doll in his hand. That's what I'm using to model my suit after. So I get a little bit of this white acrylic paint that's watered down, and I'm just kind of dabbing it on this towel that I've got here. And all I'm doing is I'm going down these grooves. So I'm going to go down these grooves. Let's see if I can get it at an angle here. And I'll show you after I put it on there what it looks like. Okay, so right now it's wet in the groove. It just looks like a solid white line. And I don't want it to be a solid white line. I want it to be kind of look like there's just stuff that's collected in there. So now I'm going to dab it. Just dab it until you get it the way you want it. And it'll leave, when you dab it, it'll leave some, see how it's like chalky on the outside there? This stuff wipes off really easily. So you can just clean it off like this. And then clean off the off of the other lip that's on there. And what you're left with is just a really faint white line there. Hopefully that is showing up on there. So this side is done. This side is not done. Just a faint line is all I want. So there's that one. Let's do the other groove. Done, not done. I'm going to turn it on its side right here. Just go down that groove. So now it's completely covered inside of that groove right now. And now I'm going to dab it. See if I can get up here. Just dab it. And it's taking some of that, it's taking the really bright white stuff off. So it's leaving kind of like a chalky finish to it. Okay, so now it is on there and I have to clean up the edges a little bit. So see all that powder, or not the powder, but the white that's on the top part? I'm going to get all that off with my, this is actually a t-shirt, an old t-shirt. And then that line right there. Maybe get a little bit out of there, just not much. I mean, and that is exactly how I'm wanting it right there. You see how you can see the white, you can see the contrast between the white and the black. But it's just enough. Like it's not taking it overboard, and that's what I don't want to do. I want to keep it pretty clean, but also I want it to look like the picture. That still shot, and I'll try to post it in there, like a quick snapshot of it. I'll do it right here so you can see what I'm talking about. I might even put it in the thumbnail, who knows. So now I'm going to do this, like the top part of this. See how it's clean right now? I'm going to do the top part of that. Same thing, using the white. Now this stuff, I mean this, I'm not gonna lie, I like doing this a lot more than using that clay powder or the Fuller's Earth. You can control this a heck of a lot more easily than you can that powder. But the powder is really great for weathering, like my, actually I'll get it right now. While this is kind of drying on there. The powder is great for weathering stuff like the mag pouches and for the pauldron. I'll show you what the pauldron looks like. So I just dusted it. See how you can see down in the grooves? It looks like it's been worn now. I just dusted it with that paintbrush that has the powder on it, and that's what I got. And this is, I started to do a video on this, but I actually had got my second COVID vaccination, and I was not feeling good, so I ended up just hand stitching this whole thing on a Saturday. This is made from that vinyl leather that I originally made my mag pouch out of, that I didn't like, but it actually works really great for this pauldron. And then I lined it with felt on the inside, but hand stitched all this on here. It took a while and my fingers were killing me. But that's beside the point. Pauldron weathered with the Fuller's Earth. And the Fuller's Earth works great for that stuff. It works good for this too, but this white, watered down white acrylic is so much easier to handle and manage. So let's continue. So I got the top part of this, and that looks actually pretty good. Let me just kind of clean some of it off. I'm going to keep some of it down in those grooves. That's the cool thing about this too, is you can, if I wanted to, I could go through and clean this all off and it would be back to normal. Like, so there's a little bit of weathering on the top part of that. If you can see that, just a little bit of white up on there. So I noticed in that movie steel, this underneath this part right here, underneath that part, there's some white on that too. So I'm gonna do just from like here. I'm gonna do from like here down to here. So you can see that white right there. That's what I just did. So I'm going to dab that off. Let it sit for a second and then dab it. And then clean your edges. See how it kind of smears? See how you have that little shadowy, chalky stuff on the outside? You can just take your rag, get it in my hand right, and clean that off with the end of the rag. And it comes off pretty easily. So now all you're left with is just the stuff that you want there in that little corner. So that one's good. I think I'm going to leave that be now. Maybe hit these top lines here, just kind of give them a little bit of contrast between the black. So just a simple little thing adds a little bit of dirtiness to this and makes it look like it's actually something that's been used. So that's gonna do it for this one, guys. Weathering the armor, pretty simple. I mean, what I found to be simple was using the white, watered down white acrylic paint and the old t-shirt for these little bitty grooves and stuff. It works really good. You can control it a lot better than the Fuller's Earth. It was just easier overall for me to use that. And if I ever wanted to, I could go back with some, I could probably clean it off because it's so faint. I mean, it's just barely on there. It's just an easy way to do it. I hope you guys liked it. Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. If you are, I appreciate it. And y'all hit the like button too for me. Y'all have a good one, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye-bye.